Hello, good morning, chicos. Can you hear me? If not, I can use my microphone. I miss you guys so much. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're taking advantage of this time. Learning a lot. Working hard, but also resting and doing some other fun things. Like, for example, learning languages or starting new hobbies. I hope you guys are making some good decisions. Remember, if we just watch TV shows or if we just sleep all day, we get more tired and bored. So try to do fun things. Bake, read, learn languages, do something fun, okay? Duolingo is great for learning languages. And there's so many things you can do in the internet also. So, all right, chicos. Well, I miss you and I hope to see you very soon. Can you hear me well? Hello, chicas. Welcome also. Okay, I only got some questions from Ali. So, awesome. Churro sounds good. So I only got questions from Ali. So right now, if you have been looking at some of your exercises and you think, oh, I also have questions here or there, please make sure you write them on this chat so that I know which questions do you have. If not, we're just going to do a review and think about a little bit of what we have been learning, okay? How do you feel with all that we have been learning? Pretty easy, right? Awesome. Okay. The problem is I don't see Ali connected. So maybe we should wait for her to do the ones she had questions on. Okay, well, why don't we, I want to practice with you the exercise 17 in problem set 87. So maybe in your notebook, please put a live class Thursday, March 26th, and so that we know what this is, okay? So make sure you're writing in your notebooks. Okay, so let's start with in problem set. I want to do problem set. Problem set 87. I lost one of my markers. Okay. From problem set 87, we're gonna do 17, and we're gonna kind of go in not in so much order because I want to wait for Ali. So once Ali connects, make sure that she tells us, please. Okay, Meli, I see lesson 84, but lesson 84, the lesson. Okay, sounds good. We can see it. Oh, are you sure 84? But we can go see it. But I think you know how to do all of those things in 84. We'll see. Okay, lesson 87 tells us to sketch a rectangular coordinate system and then graph the line. Graph the line. And the line is negative 3x plus 2. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that whenever you want to get a line, or whenever you have something, an expression like this, the graph or the drawing that it's gonna end up with is gonna be a line, a straight line, okay? And this goes together with the line of an equation, which is mx plus b, where m is telling us the slope and b is telling us the intersection with the y-axis. Oh, I forgot to tell you also that although I want you to be copying this in your notebook, I also want you to be making sure that you understand. So if I'm going too fast, you can just leave the space, or you can go back and watch the video again and copy, and you can pause the video as much as you want, okay? So in this case, so this is the equation for a line, and m is a constant, like this number, that is multiplying x and tells us the slope. And what's the slope? The slope is the direction that the line is going. How much is going up, how much is going to the right. Okay, and we think about the slope of a mountain, for example, or a road. It can be very steep, or it can be almost not noticeable, okay? And then we have B. B is the intersection. Intersection means where it touches the line or the y-axis, okay? So here in this case, this is my M and this is my B, okay? And why is this helpful? Because you need to start getting familiar with these lines. You will be working with lines a lot, so make sure you get very familiar with them. So what you have to do is you have to do a chart or a table, and you have to choose 3 points. They actually, in the exercise, tells you to choose -1, 0, and 1. Okay? All right. In this one, what we have to do is evaluate, because what we're saying is, okay, what happens when x is -1? What happens here to see what is y? And that would be the partner of y. So what I have to do is just put here y equals -3 times x. And what is x? -1. So we put -1 plus. Negative times negative is positive, 3. Plus 2 is 5. So it means that y, in this case, when x is -1, y is going to be 5. Okay? Then we do the same with 0. I'm going to use another color so that you can easily see it. Y equals -3 times 0 plus 2. -3 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 2 is 2. So when x is 0, y is going to be 2. And why does that happen? Because I evaluated, and that's the result I got. And then the last one, I'm going to do exactly the same. Evaluate for 1. So change x for 1. So -3 plus 2. And -3 plus 2 is -1. So, as you can see in our table, we have now 3 points. This is a point, this is a point, and this is a point. I'm going to even write it here. Point 1, point 2, and point 3. So now you get to graph these 3 points in your coordinate system. Remember, in your graphing paper, and you have to have graphing paper exercises, in your graphing paper, what you want is that the y-axis goes on top of one of the lines, and the x-axis on top of another line, and then each square represents a number. Each square represents a number. Okay? All right, so now we're going to graph. Remember, this is y. This should be all clear, but if some of you forget, there is the reminder. So we're going to do the first point. -1, 5 means move -1 spaces to the, or 1 space to the left. So here, and 5 up. Oh, I did it too. Let me make this a little bit smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. 1 and 5. That's 5. And that's -1. The next one is going to be 0, 2, which means don't move left or right, just go up 2. And this is my B. B. That's where it touches. This number 2 always has to be the point where the line touches the y-axis. And then here, 1 and negative 1 is going to be 1 here and negative 1 here. Okay, and with these 3 points, now I get to graph my line. Okay, notice how I found 3 points, and all those 3 points are in one line. If I put a ruler, they're all in the same line, and that's how I graph it. Okay, so I'm not just guessing the points, I'm finding the points here. Is that clear for everyone? Yes? Now notice something interesting. Again, we said that B is the intersection with the y-axis, where this line touches the y-axis. And that's true. It was 2, and look, it's 2. So yes, it happened. We did it correctly. And now notice how the slope here is negative. If we're reading our exercise the way we should, from left to right, and you imagine yourself here, what's going to happen if you're here and you want to get here? Are you going to have to climb or are you going to fall? You're falling, right? That line is going down, is decreasing. And that happens because the m is negative, okay? All these are extras. You don't need to know any of that for this lesson, but it is important that you start getting familiar and also that you check that you did it well. Because, for example, if my line was negative 3, but my line here would have been going this direction, it was wrong. There's something I did that was wrong. Okay, so we have to check our own work knowing these things. Usually the book right now is going to give you these 3 numbers. So sometimes they tell you, use negative 1, 0, 1, or use negative 3, 0, 3, okay? But eventually they're just gonna say graph. And you know you have to choose 3 points. Usually we always choose the 0 plus 2 other points. And 1 and negative 1 are great points unless we have a fraction here. Okay, if we have a fraction there, then we should choose the denominator as our 2 points. Okay. All right, any questions for this one? I'm gonna wait. If you have any questions, you can write them there in your chat, on the chat. Okay. Again, what I was saying is if the slope here is, let's say, negative 3/2, then the 2, I should put here negative 2, 0, 2, so that the denominator cancels. Okay. All right, great. Okay, let's continue. Is Ali connected now? Or not yet? So, whenever I said that you had to show all your process, for these exercises, that means all your process. You cannot just show me the 2 points or 3 points in a line. You can't just say, oh, this is the exercise, blah, blah, blah. No, you have to show me where are the 3 points? And how did you find those 3 points? Show me the table. Is that clear? If not, I cannot give you points because you need to show your process. Excellent. Okay, well, we're going to continue. I'm going to explain the ones that Ali wrote, and then she can watch the video later. Let's go backwards. She said 15, so let's do 15. 15, we have to do the volume of that drawing. And remember, they always give us the base here to the side, and then they show us how the prism looks. So the prism looks kind of like this. right? Something like that. Not the best drawer, but it's something like that. Yeah, maybe not like this. Okay, so, this is not very good. Okay, so that's the solid, more or less. And what we want to find is the volume. Now, you guys know the formula for the volume. And I'm sure everyone is yelling, yes, it's volume equals the area of the base times height. And remember, this height is capital height because I'm not talking about the height here. I'm talking about the height here. And what's the difference? The height here represents the height or the distance between the two bases. Okay, this is a base. And then under here, where we can't see it, but here is the other base. Okay, so the distance between the two bases, that's our height. And that's what we have to find the volume, okay? So it says, this is 2, this is 1, this is also 2, and 1, and this is 6. And it says the sides are 2 meters tall. So this is 2 meters tall. And what does it say? That's it. Okay, so we have to find first the area of this figure, which is the base. So we can do it in 2 ways. One way is to find the area of the small triangle plus the area of the rectangle plus the area of the other small triangle, right? Because if I add this plus this plus this, then I get the area of that figure. The other way, and I can do it here, the other way is by using the formula for trapezoid, which is the big base plus the small base times the height in lowercase h, because it will be the height of here, divided by 2. That's the formula for a trapezoid. So I'm going to do both in case you prefer one than the other one. Okay, so the area of the base is going to be multiplied times the height. So here, a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So 1 times 2 divided by 2. Plus the rectangle, which is 6 plus 2, 6 times 2, plus the other triangle that is exactly the same as this. And all of that, we're going to multiply times the height that they told us here. Okay? Do you see? That's easy, right? Okay, so we're going to multiply here, and we have base times height is 1. Now 1 times 2 divided by 2 is 1. Plus 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 again, and all of that times 2. Okay? And so this is 12, 13, 14, and 14. Can you see? 14 times 2 equals 28. And it's going to be cubic meters because it's volume. Okay? Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. Okay, let's do the other way, which again, always when we have formulas, it's a lot easier to work with formulas. So it's going to be the big base. So if this is 1 and this is 1 and this is 6, the big base is going to be 8. So 8 plus the small base is going to be 6. And then the height of this figure is 2. And then all of that divided by 2. Okay? And then this, which is the area of the base, times the height, capital H, of the figure, the distance between the two bases. So this is going to be 8 plus 6, 14. 14 times 2, 28. And these two can cancel. So I don't even have to do it. We get to the same answer. Okay? All right. I hope that was clear for Ali and for everyone. Okay, any questions with that one before we continue? No? Awesome. Besides lesson 84, I don't see any other questions. So if you guys have any other questions, make sure you write them on the chat so I can help you. Or if you did something but you're not sure it's the right way, or if you did something and then check your answer and it didn't work, just make sure that you are learning. This is a great opportunity for everyone to learn more and more how to be very independent with your learning and see, okay, I'm doing this well or not, or I got to the answer or I didn't, or how can I change what is wrong? And then go over your steps and check if there was something that you did wrong that you need to correct. That's great for your learning. Okay, number 9. It says, if 650 is increased by 120%, what is the resulting number? Remember that we talked about always adding 100 when it says increased, right? Increased by 120%. We're going to add 100% here. Remember, right? You can't see anything. All right, there. When it says increased by 120%, you always add 100. Why? Because we talked about it. I showed you earlier when we were in class that this is what we have originally, right? Originally. Okay. And that represents our 100%. Whatever the amount is, that's our 100%. And if there is an increase, it's going to go over what we already had here. And the increase is here. That's why we have to add 100, because the increase represents 120 and the original is 100. So how much is both of them? 220%, okay? And that's going to represent the percentage of the new resulting number. So again, if 650, can you see, or to let's use black. If 650 is increased by 120, what we're going to do is multiply 650 times 220%. And that's going to be the resulting number. If you forget to add here the 100%, then you're going to be finding only this part. And then you would have to add whatever the number you found here plus 650. And you might forget to do that if you're not careful. So let's just remember how to do it this way, okay? All right, so then we're going to simplify this, and notice I don't have to do any reciprocal. I don't have to do anything because it's ready to multiply. I can simplify here by 10 and by 10 and here by 10 and by 10. And then I only have to multiply 22 times 65. And I can do that here to the side. 22 times 65. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6, 12, and 1, 13. And then 2 times 5 again is 10 and 13. So our answer is 1,430 is the resulting number. Let's continue then. We're gonna go back to lesson 84 to see is it that you don't understand the formula that we used before for the trapezoid. I think that's pretty easy to memorize and apply. So in this case, what we're going to find is the area of the semicircle